do this.
Welcome back, family. Hey, how's everybody going? We are here for the Cover Price Top 10/20 because the second week in a row, I've got 20 books to show. And today is April Fool's Day. And there's a couple of things on this list that I think that if you're you're fools if you do buy. So we're going to take a look at this. Just to give everybody a heads up that this is a very if you have not watched X-Men 97 yet and you plan on it, this list is going to have a bunch of spoilers in it. So just be prepared for that. All right, so let's see. We've got Stinker Buns already checking in. Just finished reading Invincible yesterday, and it was fantastic. Fantastic. Great. 25 Perez, top 10 in the house. Yes, we have a new member. Tiago has joined the YouTube membership. Awesome. Congrats. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. All right. Not going to miss today's show. Good, good. And that also means that I have to read to the little screen for the names, which is not done yet. Tiago, you're not going to see your name on today's list, but you'll see it on the next video. I promise on that. And yes, good evening. Tiago is a coconut. Absolutely. He always was. He's an honorary coconut, no matter what. All right. So, and also just to let you know, I have picked out I'm going to say books, and I'll explain it as we go, that will be for the 1,250 subscriber giveaway. After I finish this video, I'm going to record that video and get it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video where people will go to register to win the 1,250 subscriber. Then during one of the live broadcasts, whether it be New Comic Book Day or this one, probably this one, because I already give books away on New Comic Book Day. Once we pass the 1,250, I will pick a winner on the following Cover Price Top 10. And I have another book that I will give away to people in the live stream just for being present. So there's going to be a nice little celebration. We're going to be giving away 2 books. So yes, yeah, you know what would have helped if I was this way. Oh man! All right, so you already see number 20. Let's just jump right back into it then, shall we? Number 20 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man number 300. The first appearance of Venom. It's first full appearance. You get little cameos or whatever in 298 and 299. But this is a book that everybody wants to have in their collection. I don't have one because honestly, the amount of books that are on the CGC census, I can't, in good conscience, spend this kind of money on this book. I'm just sorry, I can't. I mean, still 9.6s are $960, 9.4s $590, and there's what, like 14,000 of these things on the census. It's ridiculous. Came out in 1988, so I mean it's up there in age. It's 35 years, 36 years old. But you look at some of the lower grades, I see that a 7.5 just sold a couple of weeks ago for $192. And a 7.0 was $295 a couple of days later. So somebody snuck a beautiful 7.5 through there somehow. Maybe it was a restored or a green label. I don't know. But there are bargains to be had if you just are patient. I can't believe somebody spent 500 on a 5.5. Ouch. So this is a book that's it really doesn't drop that much. So just keep your eyes out and try to find a good bargain when you can, if you want to add one to your collection. Good evening, Richard, my fellow coconut. Sorry I'm late. I was just reading the Ed Piskor that Ed Piskor deleted himself today. I don't know who Ed Piskor is, and I'm wondering if deleted himself means committed. I don't want to do something that's going to get the YouTube video knocked down, but hey, Canadian Survivalist, how's it going? Welcome to the channel, to the show rather. So yeah, again, this is a book that really doesn't drop all too much, but yeah, it means what you think it means. Okay, and let's see. This is sad. I remember meeting Ed I don't know who this person is. So somebody please fill me in. He was a Charles Grover Good Riddance. Comic book artist. Yes, that's what it means. Groomer. Okay, so well, I'll look into that afterwards. Um, if anybody ever look, I don't wish ill will on anybody, no matter what they do. Um, well, no, I mean, if there are certain things, I guess, yeah, just leave them alone with the parents. But we're getting off topic. We're here for the top 20. All right, so uh, again, this is a book that is a blue chip for people's collections, but it's not going to come cheap and never really will. So be frugal when you're shopping. Coming in at number 19, we've got X Men number 244, the first appearance of Jubilee. And of course, a lot of X Men books are going to be on this list because X Men 97 has dropped and is really getting up some hype and a lot of different things here. And what's cool about this book is if you really want to get one into your collection, you don't have to go shopping for it. All you have to do is register when I make the 1,250 subscriber video, because that's what I'm going to be giving away, a 9.6 X-Men 244, first appearance of Jubilee. So I wish I was a 9.8, but I don't have a 9. Oh no, I do have a 9.8. That one's staying with me. Sorry, the 9.6. I'm going to be giving away, and in the live stream when we do give this book away, one person is going to get an X-Men Adventures in a 9.6, also another slab. So yes, that's going to be the videos that I'm going to be making after this list. So just in time for all this X-Men hype, I'm going to be giving a couple away for you guys for saying thank you for helping build the channel. But getting back to the list, this actually is a lot lower than it used to be. This was 589 for a 9.8 back in 2021. Now the most recent sale is $200. For market value 191, so it's up a little bit because of all the hype. I see a 9.6 just sold for 73, even though the fair market value is 155. I think 155 is a bit high on a 9.6. I don't believe that fair market value. I think it's closer to 100. It's not a bad time to pick one up. I think as the story goes, the season continues, she's going to get a little bit more hype. And if we get X-Men in live action, I think the Jubilee will be a character that gets brought over. Moving to number 18, we've got X-Men 282, first cover and cameo appearance of Bishop. I've got a couple of these, but this is a tough book to get in a 9.8. I've sent in a few that I thought were perfect, and I hit 9.4, 9.6, 515 for a 9.8 back in 2021. Now the most recent sales are 169, but 9.6 just sold for $51. So this is not a bad book to pick up for 51 bucks. Okay, it's a very iconic cover. You might even be able to crack and press it too. It's a 1991 book, so 33 years old, and 51 bucks for 9.6. It's not a bad thing. If you watch the cartoon, you know that Bishop is in X-Men 97, but he left the group at the end of episode 3. Okay, I think that's the best way I can do it without spoiling anything. Okay, number 2019-18-17, we've got X-Men 256, first new Psylocke. Now, I did not see any mention of the new Psylocke, and the only Psylocke that I saw in the cartoon was Morph transitioning into her for a brief second, which was cool. And since we know we have Mr. Sinister, so we may get the new Psylocke. I don't know, but 9.8 just sold for 100. 9.6s are 47. If you like the new Psylocke, this book never really took off too much. I don't think this has a great upside. I think it's pretty much going to be where it is for a long time. So if you're building your X-Men collection and you want to grab one, I'd go for a high grade raw, and this is 13. So that's probably a better way to go. Number 16, dropping all the way out of the top 10, we have Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. Now, is it because it dropped out or because the X-Men stormed into the top 10? Kind of a little bit of both. The book has continued to trend a little bit further down, 2.89%, still hitting 192 for the 9.8 just sold yesterday. and the raws are still selling for $100. Wow. High sale was on March 27th. Somebody paid 271 for a 9.8. I think that's crazy. I mean, it's consistently selling for 200. I don't know who decided to go for 271 on this. So, um, don't go for 271. Sh- Right now, you should be looking for, if you really want to get one, for 180, 185 maybe. And watch those shipping costs because they can add it on there. You're like, oh, I got it for 180, $22 shipping. What the heck? Next on the list, we have Ultimate Black Panther has dropped down. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the only two Ultimate books that are in the top 20. We see this has dropped though, 12.85% down this week. The 9.8s are now selling for $59. So you see there, a lot of people are getting them back, and the market is starting to get flooded. And but the raws are still selling for 28 to 35. If I'm going to take a chance on getting a $35 9.8 and then send it in for grading, it's going to cost me more than $24 to get it graded. I'm just going to go buy the 9.8 for 59. So expect these raw prices to start dropping. But it has dropped for more than 50% since its high watermark back in February of 133. This book may continue to drop a little bit more. We'll see. But I don't think it's going to go below 50. So if you want to get one, this will probably be a decent time. 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. We have the Wolverine #1 from the 1982 Wolverine Limited Series, Frank Miller's masterpiece. This, I think, is one of two Wolverine books that are up on the list this week that are, I think it's hyped from the Deadpool and Wolverine movie coming out soon. High mark was 23.5 for a 9.9 in February of 2023. And that same 9.9 sold in January for 15.6. Wow, it dropped $8,000 in a year. Ouch. 9.8, 680, 9.6, 246. This is always a book that people want to get into their collection. I believe it's a decent newsstand variant of this as well. And remember that the newsstands were more prevalent. There were higher printing of the newsstands in 1982. So lower grades should be cheaper than direct sale, but high grades newsstand you would pay a premium because they're harder to find. This is still the wrong time to buy this book. The only thing that could cause this to shoot any higher right before the Deadpool Wolverine movie would be if something, God forbid, happened to Frank Miller. So I don't think anything is going to happen to him. Hopefully not. So I would wait till after the movie goes before going and getting this book. Number 13 on the list. We got a weird one here, and I had to do some real digging. And I found that there's one of two. This is one of two books on this list that are because of the new video game, Marvel Rivals. I believe Luna is in Marvel Rivals, as well as another character, which is higher up on the list. I know, collect what you like. Just seems crazy to me. 23,000 for Wolverine one. You can buy a AF-15 or even a decent ASM one with that kind of money. Tiago, I saw earlier today, I kid you not, and if I had the money, I would have went for it. An AF-15 in a I think it was a zero point 0.5, but looked decent, but it said all edges trimmed. So that's why it was a zero point 0.5. And it sold for 9,900. So for $23,000, I would be able to get an AF-15 and an ASM-1, granted low grade, but put them up on my wall. And I would be much happier than that. Yeah, absolutely. Or if you really got the money, you got to go after that Action Comics that's at Heritage right now. I think it's at 4.25 mil. So with the buyer's premium, it's like 5.1 mil. It still has a few days left. Yikes. That's only an 8.5. So we have the new Marvel Rivals video game coming out. And I know I saw that Luna Snow is a character in it, as well as another character, which is also on this list later on. It's actually in the top 10. This book has been on the list in the past a couple of years ago. Right now, we're getting 9.8s selling for $53, even though its fair market value is 75. But back in 2021, this hit 350 on Marvel Spec News, but which never panned out. Um, I think if you find somebody with a 9.8 for $50, they're gonna be happy to sell it. But don't buy this because of the hype of the video game. A lot of times we get video game characters or skins or whatever, and as soon as people play it a little bit and get a little tired of it, it drops really, really quickly in value. It's not going to drop much more than a $53 for a 9.8, but I wouldn't go running out to buy this hoping it'll shoot up in value. It's not going to. Next on the list, we have Wolverine #1, the first of the ongoing series. This was a debut of his black Wolverine costume. Sorry for my voice being messed up. It's pollen season here in Georgia, and a lot of people sound like they're going through puberty. And today it hit me. 9.9 of this high value is 45.60. 9.8's 333. 9.6 is 140. This is another book that is on the list because of the Deadpool and Wolverine book and a movie, and um, I would hold off on this until after the movie goes if you want to add one to your collection. And coming in at number 11, this one has no key, but it is a really cool cover. It's X-Men #24. It is the iconic cover showing Gambit and Rogue in each other's arms about to kiss. And there has been more hints that they're going to be pushing the romance between the two of these guys in the X-Men '97 series. So this iconic cover, I think, is getting a lot of attention. Um, Also, I'm pretty sure that the people doing the voices for this are signing autographs at shows. So that would be an amazing cover to get signed by the two voice actors. Ooh, I just thought about that right now. Nice 30-year-old book. So anyway, it's up 14%. 9.8 selling for 187. Back in 2021, it was 285. 9.6 is 73, but your absolute near mints 9.6 to 10. $25 for a raw, 17 for a 9.0 to 9.4. I'd go for a raw on this. I don't know if I'd pull the trigger 187 for a non-key, non-first appearance, non-something X-Men book. There's so many X-Men books out there with actual key information in them. So just have that known cover. I mean, if you like it, you like it. That's the whole bottom line. It's not a killer at 187. It's more than I want to spend on it, but maybe you want to spend it. But we finished the first 10. And before we get into the next 10, I want to take a moment to say thank you so much to all the Patreon and YouTube members, including our newest member, Tiago. And just take a quick little second to pop these names up here and say thank you. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. So let's move on to the top 10. Starting off at number 10, we have Avengers Twilight #1. This is the first appearance of James Stark. Again, this is an alternate reality. But again, the storyline though is pretty good, and a lot of people are liking it. The trend is down a little bit, 1.5%. Raw is now selling for about $11, which that's come down quite a bit. 9.8s selling now for 66. And what's funny is I actually have a submission that I have not sent in yet. I was getting ready to, and a couple of the books that are in there are the Ultimate Black Panthers and um, Avengers Twilight, and I'm like, maybe I should hold off on this because if I don't hit a 9.8, it's really a money losing proposition. So I think I'm just going to keep those books as raw and redo that submission. Um, I think this is going to drop a little bit further as we continue because again, this is not something that will stay canon in the Marvel universe. These side stories don't really count for much of anything. Coming in number 9, we have a book that has not been up on this list for a long time and has really dropped a lot in value. Avengers Annual number 10, first appearance of Rogue in one of the ugliest covers in Marvel history. Now, a 9.8 back in 2021 was selling for $2,500, as crazy as that might sound. Now, the most recent sale, $749. So it has dropped it's down to one third of its price. It's lost two thirds of the price. 66% is down. 9.6 is at 275. I think I had a 9.4, which was signed, and I sold that for like 350. I'm so glad I did. So um I have a 9.4, it's now at 148. Um Rogue is, I don't know how much more attention can drive this book back up other than if she gets cast in the MCU. Um, I mean, she's a great character in X-Men 97, but that's the only reason that this is up here right now. Do I think this is ever going to return to its heights? No, I don't. I think that this book is at a pretty high premium right now. And when the series ends, as season one ends of X-Men 97, I think this is going to go down a little bit. So I'd hold off on it. As much as I love Rogue, I'd hold off on it. Number 8, we have, and I can't figure this one out. I don't know why this is on the list. Supervillain Team Up, issue number 5 from 1976, first appearance of the Shroud. Well, the Shroud is kind of like Marvel's copy of Batman. And maybe the Shroud is in this video game too. I don't know. The Marvel Rivals, it's up almost 15%. A 9.8 just sold for $675. Now, I'll be honest, the fact that anybody was able to find a 1976 supervillain team up in a 9.8, God bless them. That alone had to be hard because I don't think anybody was keeping track of these books. 9.6s sold last year for 150. Um, Now, and I see a near mint 9.0 raw just sold for $4. This, I think, is one of those weird sales that we should just avoid. Avoid this book. I don't see that this is going to be anything. Maybe just somebody really found a one of a kind 9.8 and spent extra to get their hands on it. I don't know, but there's no investability in this really. All right, so we're gonna have to 10, 9, 8. Number 7, we have issue number 200 of the original Uncanny X-Men run. Again, if you have not watched X-Men 97 yet, this right there, this cover alone is a spoiler. It is called The Trial of Magneto. Um, High water mark on this in 2022 was 252. Now a 9.8 of this is 130. This is going to come down a little bit more because this part of the storyline is now officially over, but it was really, really good what they did. 9.6 is for 81. If you want to get this book, wait a couple of weeks. It'll continue to drop a little bit. It's already down 10%. Next on the list, and this is a weird one. This one is the only thing I could find is that she's in the Marvel Rivals. Galacta, daughter of Galactus. Now, this character only appeared in 2 different comic books, and both those comic books were non-canon. Okay, it's a teenage daughter living incognito in a teenage daughter of Galactus living incognito on Earth, and she runs like food blogs and stuff like that. Just weird as heck. 50% up in price. Highest known raw, $190. What? What? Come on. And another one's that sold for 57? No, I wouldn't give $10 for this book. It's a character that has nothing to do with the MCU, the Marvel Universe, or anything else. And they stuck her in the video game, and I don't think they're not going to bring this character to. I don't care how popular they are in the video game. She's not going to make the transition into comic books, into the main storylines. So no, no, and then by the way, no. One, two, three, four. Number five, we have a perennial favorite up here, Spawn, number one, the Todd McFarlane Wonder Child. Is it 3 million copies printed? But everybody has to have one. I got one in my collection as well. The value of a 9.9 was $10,000 in 2021 and just sold for 3,700. 9.8 selling now for 123. 9.6 is at 79. This is a book that there's so many copies of. It fluctuates with the news. When it's not in news, it drops down to like the $95 to $100 mark. When something happens, like it's going to be in a video game or more movie spec, it jumps up to 150. Right now, it's right in the middle. Cost of inflation, this might be the new low part. So it's never a bad one. It's never going to become worthless, but it's never going to be an A15. It's just too many copies of it. It's a good book to have. Like I said, I got one just so I can say I'm part of the Spawn Club. Coming in number 4, first cover and second appearance of Mr. Sinister, but the first cover appearance of Madeline Pryor as the Goblin Queen. I told you there's going to be some spoilers in here. Rob's joining us. What we got? Seems like that 9.9 price should come down. There are so many copies with CGC doing what they're doing. I got to imagine we'll see more 9.9s hit the market. Oh, absolutely. And did you see the I can't say the poop storm about that 9.9 GSX1 with the color breaking color breaking lines on the spine? What the heck are they doing over there, man? They're going to ruin the entire market. If you've watched X-Men 97, you know Madeline Pryor, Goblin Queen, was part of this episode 3. This book has already dropped 20% in value. People quickly jumped on it, but again, when the hype is happening, that's when it's at its highest. If you got a copy, sell it. But if you want to get a copy, wait a few weeks, it'll come back down. I think this has got to be some kind of a goof. I can't imagine that a 9.8 just sold for $18. Because I wish I had bought it if it did. It says for market value 117, 9.6 is selling for 70. I think this is going to 120, 100 to 120 is probably going to be its normal value just because it's a nice first cover appearance of Mr. Sinister. Don't buy it for the Madeline Pryor part of it, but buying it for Mr. Sinister because he has a future, especially with the MCU. I think that's a good idea. Coming in number 3, we have the first appearance of Mega Red in X-Men issue number 4, down another 10% this week. High watermark of $500, now a 9.8 will set you back under 100. So it's lost 80% of its value since 2021. Omega Red will be in the Thunderbolts, but I'll be honest, I didn't really care for the character. So I mean, he was just a little bit too goofy to me. He's the kind of character I would expect them to kill off if they need to sacrifice somebody. So 9.8, $100. I wouldn't. If you want to have one, and if you never got one and you wanted one, $96 is not a bad price for it, but I don't think it's got long-term investability. Coming in number 2, a book that has dropped a lot, especially since when I bought it. X-Men 221, first appearance of Mr. Sinister. Imagine how much this book would be worth if he was actually on the cover. 9.8 sold in 2021 for $929. Now they're selling for $285. No, I did not pay $929, but I did pay $4 and change. So $285. It's not as bad, but it's still, I have lost some. But I don't regret having that book because I like having it. 9.6 is though $85. Look at that. Less than one third the price for a 9.6. I think a 9.6 is a good way to go on this book, especially if you could find something that might be pressable if you really want to have that 9.8. But 9.6 and 9.8 are so close together. It's just a number. It's just if the grader woke up with a headache that day, and the price difference doesn't merit it, I'd go for 9.6 on that. And coming in at number one, I was so shocked when I saw this because I mean I have a copy of this, and I remember reading this when it first hit the shelves because it finished reading the Brood series and everything. It was great. First appearance of Madeline Pryor with Kitty Pryde on the cover, X-Men number 168, and it is also the first mention of Lockheed. Now, this book is down 5% because it's already starting to drop after the hype of the show. 312 for a 9.8 back in 2023, now 240. 9.6 for 84. Now, from what I remember, X-Men, anything under 150, I think was lower print. After 150, 155, that's when the words really started to spread for, like, oh, you got to read this, you got to read this, you got to read this. And everybody was buying them. And the printing started going up. Once they hit the Brood in the low 160s, the print runs were getting higher because everybody was buying them. And we were also taking care of them at that time, too. I think this is about the time when I bought my first 100 pack of bags and I found out how careful you have to be with tape. So, this is not a rare book, but it is something that is also very nostalgic to people like me because this is where we started getting into it. 9.6 for $84. I'd buy that any day of the week for this book because I loved it. I would not spend 240 on a 9.8, especially not right now. I'd wait for that to drop down to like 170. All right, so that is the top 20 list. So now what I have to do is pick two picks. One is my gun to the head, which book I think is my absolute best thought as far as what is, if I had to buy one of these books right now at the price it is today, which one has the best chance to go up or at least the least amount going down? The best investment. Hmm. 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 There's a couple on here that I do like, but I am going to go with X-Men 244, first appearance of Jubilee. And I am looking for really high grade raws for $26, $27. If I can get something I know I can send in and get a really good shot at a 9.8, I'll get that for $26, $27 any day of the week. I think Jubilee, I mean, Mrs. Sinister books are already up there in value. I think the Jubilee books, right around the same time frame, has the best chance to go up as she becomes more popular. Now, what's the worst pick in here? Dude, I don't even have to think about it. Galacta, daughter of Galactus. No, no chance. Am I spending $190 on a raw? Come on. I'm not spending $50 on a raw for Galacta. I would spend $5 on this book. I have no desire for this book whatsoever. Nice. So let me just give you guys a reminder though. Right after I'm finishing up with this, I am going to be making the video for the 1,250 subscriber giveaway, so that people have a chance to register. That should be going up tonight. And to remind everybody, I'm going to be giving away an X-Men 244 first appearance of Jubilee in a 9.6. And when we cross that threshold, I will be picking a winner on the following video for the weekly top 20 now for CovrPrice. And one of the live stream members is going to get an X-Men Adventures number 1 in 9.6 as well. be giving 2 books away to say thank you guys to the community. And Rob, I know you're still here, so I'm gonna make sure I say this. It is worldwide wide delivery. Rob's gonna pay for it. No, just kidding. I am. Oh man. So guys, hopefully you had some fun with this list with me. Um, no, he didn't say yeah, I'm paying for it. Oh, Rob, real quick, before you go, I have to ask you, when do you want people to start sending the books that we're going to be donating for Comics Curing Cancer auction? I think that's in October. Even though people don't have to wait till right now, until then to start donating for C3 for Comics Curing Cancer, but I'm getting my nice little stack here, and I want to know when I can start sending them to you. I know you're getting ready to appear in a show uh, here on the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken. It's a bit north for me, but I'd love to see if I can actually meet you for a change. Um, After Heroes Con will be our push. Absolutely. All right, fantastic. And for everybody here, make sure that you're subscribed to Rob's Fast Stacks of Comics, especially if nothing else, just to hang out with him on during Only Slabs on Saturdays. Watch it for me because most of the time I'm at work. I can't do it. Heroes in North Carolina. Booth 1769. Fantastic. Oh man, I'm really hoping I get a chance to get up there. We'll see if I have the time and or the funds. I mean, I might be sleeping in the car overnight, but we'll see. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap this up. I want to say thank you so much for joining. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Hopefully, you did that already. And thank you to Tiago for joining. I will make sure I update the member list on that one. And don't forget, like I said, to click like, subscribe, click on those notifications so you know when more videos are dropping. And until I see you in the next video, mahalo.